Welcome to the weekly roundup of Air News Daily Bulletins, the go-to place to catch up with all the stories that made the news last week.
Vietnamese low-cost carrier VietJet is adding a 5 times weekly service between its Da Nang hub and the Indonesian capital, Jakarta. This will be the first time that the airline has connected the two cities, and flights will commence on the 29th of April, operating on Mondays, Wednesdays, Thursdays, Fridays and Sundays using the airline's Airbus A320 family aircraft. Turkish carrier Sun Express will be introducing services to Montenegro for the first time this year when it launches services between Antalya and Izmir to Podgorica. Twice weekly flights from Izmir will commence on the 12th of June, operating on Tuesdays and Fridays. And the twice weekly services from Antalya to the Montenegrin capital will commence on the 14th of June, operating on Tuesdays and Sundays. Both routes will be flown using the airline's Boeing 737s. Air India is set to expand its domestic network from the 25th of October when it plans to launch a daily service from its New Delhi home to Khajuraho and Varanasi on a triangular route designed to support tourism to the UNESCO-listed temples of Khajuraho and the spiritual hub of Varanasi. They're going to be popular, I'm absolutely certain. At the top of the show, I promised you a competition to mark our 50th episode, so here's some very dodgy geezer with all the details.
Somewhere over Europe at 36,000 feet, flying with Air News Daily, is some dubious looking fella.
We're excited to have reached our 50th episode, and to celebrate, we would like 2 lucky winners of a very simple quiz to win one of these stylish mugs. All you need to do for your chance to be a winner is to visit our website airnewsdaily.tv and go to the competition page where there are 4 very easy questions to answer. Send us your entries by 1700 or 5 p.m. if you prefer on Friday the 20th of March. The first 2 correct entries drawn by the judges on Saturday the 21st of March will receive a mug. If, like me, you have no luck and never win anything, you can always go to the Air News Boutique and feast your eyes on all the lovely merchandise we have available. Good luck. Europe's largest low-cost operator, Ryanair, will be introducing 2 new services from its Pisa base to Bratislava and Rabat. Services to the Slovak capital commence on the 30th of March and will operate twice weekly on Mondays and Thursdays. And a twice weekly service to the Moroccan capital will commence on the 1st of April, operating on Wednesdays and Sundays. Unsurprisingly, both routes will be flown using the airline's 737s. Egyptian leisure airline Air Cairo will be introducing services to Oslo from both Cairo and Hurghada for the winter 2026 timetable. Services from Cairo will operate twice weekly on Mondays and Thursdays, commencing on the 26th of October, and a once weekly service from Hurghada will head to the Nordic capital on Sundays from the 25th of October. The airline will use its Airbus A320s on both routes. And finally, Saudi Arabian startup carrier VietJetAir has acquired slots for the summer 2026 timetable from Riyadh to no less than 15 destinations. Whilst the schedule hasn't yet been released by the airline, it is holding slots to the following destinations: Amman, Bangkok, Cairo, Dubai, Islamabad, Jakarta, Jeddah, Kuala Lumpur, Lahore, London Heathrow, Madrid, Manchester, Manila, and finally Paris Charles de Gaulle. 15 destinations shows a high degree of ambition on the part of the Saudi startup, but only 3 of the routes would be new destinations from Riyadh, as the remaining 12 all have existing services by other airlines. The routes not currently available from Riyadh are Jakarta, Madrid, and Manchester. We may have to wait, however, folks, for all 15 destinations to come online, as the airline is awaiting further deliveries of the 140 plus aircraft it has on order from both Airbus and Boeing. And of course, the current geopolitical situation in the Middle East may delay some of the airline's plans. We will of course keep you updated on developments in future route special episodes. That's us for today. We'll be back again tomorrow. And don't forget to head to airnewsdaily.tv to take part in our competition. And remember, it's the first 2 correct answers out of the hat that will win one of our lovely mugs. Good luck, everyone. Greek national flag carrier Aegean Airlines has cancelled its 2025 order for 2 Airbus A321 XLRs that it was intending to use on new routes from its Athens home to New Delhi and Mumbai in India starting this summer. The aircraft, originally destined for US carrier JetBlue, was subject to additional certification relating to the seating, which has delayed delivery by 7 months, which the Greek carrier says will mean they are no longer able to launch Indian services as planned this summer. Instead, the airline has elected to change the order to 2 A321 LRs that will join 4 others the carrier is expecting, and the airline now hopes to commence Indian services in time for the peak summer season in 2027. Brazilian low-cost operator Gol has made no secret of its plans to commence long-haul operations, having ordered an initial 5 Airbus A330-900s from leasing company Avalon. The Sao Paulo-based airline has now confirmed that they intend to commence their first long-haul services on the 16th of September, when they will introduce 4 times weekly services between their Rio de Janeiro hub and Lisbon, the Portuguese capital. The airline has said that Paris will become the airline's second long-haul destination, although the launch day and frequency have yet to be set. We will of course keep you updated with the aircraft deliveries and of course the route launches as they happen. Staying in South America, the LATAM Airlines Group, which is based in Santiago in Chile, has confirmed that they are expecting their fleet to exceed 400 aircraft for the first time this year. The airline has 41 new aircraft deliveries planned for 2026, which will take their fleet total to 410 aircraft, placing them alongside Turkish Airlines for fleet size, which means the airline group will, for the first time in their history, be in the top 12 airlines globally in terms of size of their fleet. That's great going. New York-based Atlas Air placed the largest order to date for the Airbus A350 freighter when it signed a deal with the manufacturer for 20 firm commitments for the aircraft. The logistics specialist has said that the new aircraft will be used to help it develop its services at the same time as enhancing its operational performance. They're certainly going to be cheaper to operate than some of their aircraft. This order marks the first time that the airline has ever ordered an Airbus product. After just 2 years of operation, the low-cost long-haul subsidiary of All Nippon Airways, Air Japan, will be closing its doors on the 29th of March when its last flight from Singapore touches down in Tokyo. ANA, who recently announced the closure, cited aircraft delivery delays and issues created by the conflict between Russia and the Ukraine as the reasons for closing the airline. The airline's 2 Boeing 787 Dreamliners that have an all-economy class configuration will be returned to the ANA fleet with reconfigured cabins later this year. It's never nice to see an airline close. And finally, the Transport Ministry of Uzbekistan has opened a tender process for the construction and management of a new international airport in the ancient city of Bukhara, under a joint stock partnership. The new airport will serve domestic and international traffic, with a terminal building covering approximately 48,500 square metres of space, handling around 1,600 passengers an hour. It's going to be a great project. It's a fantastic city, Bukhara. That's all for today. We will see you again tomorrow. And in the meantime, remember to stay safe. Bye for now. British Airways has announced that 2 former long-haul routes will return to the carrier's network when we enter the winter timetable. Starting on the 23rd of October, the British flag carrier will offer customers 3 flights a week during the winter only to the Sri Lankan capital Colombo from its London Gatwick base, a destination it last served in 2015. From the 9th of January, the airline will commence a daily year-round service via Kuala Lumpur to Melbourne in Australia. The carrier last operated regular services to Melbourne in 2006. In addition to these new flights, the airline has announced increased services on a number of long-haul routes to include Cape Town, so so we will bring you the full details in next Monday's Roots edition of the show. The Transport Minister for Mozambique has sought the assistance of Boeing Consulting as the country tries to restructure its national airline, LAM, Mozambique Airlines. LAM has faced a number of operational hurdles over recent years, caused largely by a lack of investment by its owner, the Mozambican government, and the effects of the COVID pandemic on travel. As a result of the challenges they have faced, the carrier has reduced its fleet and temporarily ceased all international flying. Despite mounting losses, João Matalome, the minister with responsibility for the airline, has said a full restructuring process is now underway with the assistance of Boeing's consulting division. And he hopes that the carrier can turn a corner and begin to build solid foundations upon which to grow. We hope so too. Budapest Ferenc Liszt International Airport has officially launched the construction of a new terminal complex, marking a significant milestone in a €1 billion development programme designed to transform capacity and the customer journey at the Hungarian Gateway. The airport experienced a record year in 2025 when it welcomed almost 20 million passengers through its doors. So the new facilities are intended to help it to meet sustained growth at the same time as future-proofing its operations. The new development will include a 35,000 square metre main terminal and the expansion of the ramp to incorporate 13 new aircraft stands and a dedicated de-icing facility. We think this is great news for the airport's customers. After a 6-year hiatus, Air China has announced the resumption of services between its Beijing home and the North Korean capital of Pyongyang. Initially, the airline intends to serve the route twice weekly, commencing on the 30th of March, using its Boeing 737-700s. This is seen as a much-needed boost for North Korea, who only fully reopened their borders to foreigners following the COVID pandemic at the beginning of last year. The Air China flights will complement those operated by North Korean carrier Air Koryo, who we anticipate will increase frequency of their own flights between the two capitals from twice weekly to 4 times per week during the busy summer season. The airline also offers scheduled services to Shenyang in northeast China. And finally, following 2 periods of industrial action by some of its pilots over pensions this year, Lufthansa has proposed a new pension deal to their cockpit crews, who are members of the Vereinigung Cockpit Union, which, if accepted, will hopefully bring an end to the short-notice strikes that have caused disruption to the airline's customers. I'll be keeping a close eye on this story and will bring you any updates once they're known. Don't forget, you can still take part in our 50th episode competition that we announced on Monday. All you need to do for your chance to win one of our very stylish mugs is to head to airnewsdaily.tv and click on the competition link. That's all from us today, but we'll do this all again tomorrow and look forward to seeing you then. Bye for now. The misery being caused by Donald Trump and his cohort following the US and Israeli attacks on Iran continues unabated, as Scandinavian Airlines has confirmed the cancellation of approximately 1,000 flights in April due to the almost uncontrollable fuel price surges. The cancellations join several hundred other flights that the carrier has cancelled in March for the very same reason. To put the cancellations, however, in context, the airline usually operates around 800 flights per day, so in essence the airline is losing a day and a bit of flying, which might not sound like much, but if the fuel crisis doesn't stabilise quickly, further adjustments to the airline's flying programme are highly likely. The action taken by the Nordic carrier echoes the decision by Air New Zealand that we previously reported to cancel around 5% of its flights until early May. And I'm quite sure that there will be more airlines that follow suit. It's just grim. Some people might think that it's high time Donald stopped causing turmoil, as none of us want to be cold in the winter, or for that matter, unable to afford a loaf of bread. I couldn't possibly comment. The world's largest aircraft leasing company, AerCap, has placed an order with the European manufacturer Airbus for 100 additional A320 family aircraft. The order is made up of 23 A320neos and 77 A321neos. The order is the largest single direct purchase for the type ever placed with Airbus by AerCap and reaffirms its commitment to owning the world's most in-demand, fuel-efficient technology to meet the needs of its global airline customer base. Foreign airlines operating into Nigeria in West Africa will need to hope that they have paid their bills for services provided by the Federal Airports Authority of Nigeria, as the country's House of Representatives Committee on Finance has mandated the airport authority to recover a total of 18.98 billion Nigerian naira, which equates to just over 14 million US dollars in unpaid debts from foreign operators. The sting in the tail is the fact that the authority has just 2 weeks to deliver the outstanding monies to the committee. Ouch! Sounds like a lot of hard work. Airlines that are claimed to owe the Nigerian government money include Air France, British Airways, VietJetAir, Ethiopian Airlines, KLM, Royal Dutch Airlines, Lufthansa and Virgin Atlantic, among others. To be honest, the list looks like every foreign operator that goes to Nigeria is in debt to them. That's a surprise. The airport authority has advised the committee that some debts have occurred as the result of delays at the International Air Transport Association's clearinghouse, where monies are transferred between interested parties. I suspect, however, that there's more to this story than meets the eye, so the team and I will do some investigative work to see why every foreign airline operating to Nigeria appears to be in debt. We'll let you know what we discover. Cathay Pacific Airways has confirmed that its dedicated cargo operation will be following suit with mainline services by introducing with immediate effect a temporary suspension of its dedicated freight services to Dubai and Riyadh until May. The decision has been made to ensure the safety of its crews and aircraft. We can't argue with that. And finally, Glasgow Prestwick Airport is celebrating the decision by Air China Cargo to expand its operation at the Scottish facility. Thanks to growing demand, the Beijing-based carrier has increased its existing 4 times weekly services between Prestwick and Chengdu, the capital of the Sichuan province of China, to daily. Inbound freight is dominated by e-commerce, but outbound flights unsurprisingly take seafood, freshwater salmon and a wee dram of whiskey back to the land of the dragon. The airline uses a combination of Airbus A330 and Boeing 777 freighters on the route. Sure, there's a few drinking whiskey right now. Thanks for being with us. We'll be landing with you again tomorrow. And in the meantime, go steady. See you soon. Kuwaiti low-cost operator Jazeera Airways, who moved its operation to Al Qasuma Khafar Batin Airport in Saudi Arabia as a result of the war on Iran, has announced the introduction of services from the Saudi facility to 6 destinations in India, a key market for the carrier. From the 22nd of March, the airline will operate to Bengaluru, Chennai, Hyderabad, Kochi, Mumbai and New Delhi. These services increase the airline's operation from the Saudi airport as it strives to keep operational whilst Kuwaiti airspace remains restricted. We wish them good luck. Reuters have reported that Airbus commercial aircraft is seeking damages from its strategic partner, US engine manufacturer Pratt & Whitney, over delivery delays that are severely hampering production. Insiders say that the damages claim stems from the fact that Airbus believes that the engine maker is prioritising the repair of A320 geared turbofan engines over the production of new ones. This feels a little bit like the chicken and the egg scenario, if I'm honest. After all, Airbus can't deliver airframes without engines, but at the same time, aircraft operators can't maintain existing fleets if they don't have spares and serviceable power plants. This could get messy. Time for the guys at Pratt & Whitney to roll up their sleeves and perhaps put pressure on their own suppliers. Ever-decreasing circles springs to mind. If you've ever been lucky enough to have travelled long haul in either first or business class, and I'm saying nothing, you'll know that the amenity kits provided by airlines can be like a competition in its own right. Well, Lufthansa has partnered up with German luxury skincare brand Barbour to enhance its offering to premium customers as part of its Future Onboard Experience, or FOX for short, programme. The new kits will be available in first class from the end of March, and business class customers will see the new kits in early May. We suspect that they'll be very much sought after, especially as the bags themselves have the 100-year celebratory motif on them. Might be after one myself. There may finally be light at the end of the tunnel for Boeing's overrunning but much anticipated 777-9 programme. The Seattle-based manufacturer received a further green light for the aircraft from the Federal Aviation Administration earlier this week, bringing the project another step closer to actually getting full certification and a delivery to launch customer Lufthansa, who, let's face it, have only been waiting 6 years for something positive to happen. What this latest nod from the US regulator means is that Boeing can now advance the project to the fourth stage of the certification process, known as Phase 4 Alpha. But before you all go getting excited at the prospect of seeing the latest 777 product from the Boeing stable flying the skies, the certification program normally has 5 stages before final approval. So there is still time for a hiccup or two, but we're sending positive vibes to the folk at Boeing for less turbulent skies. We've got our fingers crossed for you guys. Today is your last chance to enter our competition to win one of our very stylish mugs. Take yourself along to airnewsdaily.tv and head for the competition page and you could be a winner. Entries close today at 5 p.m, so good luck. Thanks for your company this week. We'll be back again on Monday with our usual update on new routes that have been announced by airlines around the world. Have a great weekend. Hopefully the sun will stay with you and we'll see you again next week. Bye for now.
We look forward to seeing you again next week. In the meantime, don't forget to subscribe to Air News Daily to stay up to date with all the latest news from the commercial aviation world.